Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of The Reality Club. I'm one of your hosts, Alicia. Oh my god, sorry. I'm so used to you starting. I literally was going to say, I'm one of your hosts, Lauren.
And I'm your other host. I'm Lauren. And
and
as Alicia said, welcome back to the Reality Club.
yeah, we have a very different episode for you today. Well, not very different, but instead of talking about Bachelor today, we are going to be talking about Traitors season 3 finale and just generally season 3 because we never got a chance to really talk about it yet. And uh, I'm just so happy with the way it ended. But we'll get into that.
Yeah, finale happened Friday. So Alicia and I have gone 4 days, 5 days without talking about it. It's been tough.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, I think we're both kind of stoked with how it ended.
Yeah. Well, the episode starts on a cliffhanger from last week at the round table. Um, there's Danielle, Brittany, Dolores, Ivar, and Dylan at the round table. And last week's episode, we ended off on a cliffhanger because we didn't know Brittany's vote for who she voted out as a traitor. And what were you expecting? Because we had Dolores who had voted still for Ivar, we had Dylan who had voted for Danielle, and we had Gabby who had voted Danielle.
Yep.
And Brittany, we didn't know her vote, and that was the best cliffhanger of all time. But
I think it was
what were you thinking?
I think it was a good cliffhanger, but I think the reaction that they showed of her, I think that kind of gave it away. But at the same time, I think I saw that reaction, assumed, oh my God, she obviously voted for Danielle. But then the whole week I was in my head, like, is that what they want us to think? Or is that too obvious? But I think after that reaction, for the most part, I assumed what direction it was going in.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't sure. I was 50-50. Part of me was like, there's no way that she voted for Danielle to leave because that's crazy.
Yeah.
But and also I was like, why would they? It's such a cliffhanger. I feel like if she voted for Ivar, it would have left on like not a cliffhanger. So they were just like, let's take advantage of this, you know? Because if they
That's
would have
true.
showed
That's
her
true.
voting for Ivar, then it would have just been like, well, where do we go from here? Like, this is not intriguing to wait for. But yeah, I don't know. What did you think about Brittany voting for her? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I didn't like Danielle, so I was happy to see Brittany vote for her. But I do think for Brittany's game, that was the worst thing she could have done.
I was really confused why she voted Danielle
I think that was
because
a really weird move on her part.
I think in her head she was probably thinking if Dolores votes Danielle and Gabby votes Danielle and Dylan votes Danielle, then if I vote Ivar, I'm gonna look like the traitor. I think that's probably what she was thinking because if she was the only one that voted for Danielle, I think she was probably just scared that people would assume she was protecting her. You know what I mean? I think that was her headspace. However, I
Yeah.
don't think that's the reality because everybody knew that Danielle and Brittany were really close. So I think no matter what, like if she would have voted for Ivar and Danielle was the traitor, like I don't think anyone of most people probably wouldn't have thought it was that odd that she like was loyal to her friend.
Well, and that's kind of why I felt like it put a target on her because you're right. That's
Mm-hmm.
was my assumption. Like, if because they're such good friends and people knew that they were friends, they knew that they had an alliance together. I don't think anyone would have thought twice if she didn't vote for Danielle.
Yeah.
But
And she already voted
that
for Ivar the first time around, so it's not like I
exactly
don't
it.
know. That was
No,
kind
it
of crazy to me.
that move really messed with Brittany. I think she would have had an easier time after if she didn't
Mm-hmm.
vote for Danielle. But then again, if she didn't vote for Danielle, it would have been a tie, and then they would have had to do. I guess they don't vote again, right? They just let I've
I think it
never.
would have been like I think from what I understand, it's like a twin toss. a,
That's what they make it seem like, though.
a coin toss. I don't know. I've never seen that happen because this is my first full season of watching Traitors. But yeah, I mean, odd that Brittany did that. However, I'm really happy she did because I was definitely going for the faithfuls. I wanted Gabby and Dylan to win. Dolores and I were sure, but I was really happy because if they didn't get Danielle with that round, I don't know. I don't know. I guess they could have later on. It wasn't really that big of a deal now, kind of knowing how the show ends. But at the time, I didn't know how the show ended, so I was like, they have to get her out.
Yeah, honestly, as much as I didn't like Danielle, she did, I guess, play a good game. I mean, she
Mm-hmm.
lasted till the end.
Yeah.
So she sucks, but she played her cards right. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
not by picking Brittany as a traitor in an edition a couple weeks back, or I guess that was last week
Yeah.
now. Like, Brittany
I
really didn't
think,
last too long.
yeah. I think, like, what were your thoughts on Brittany? Because it didn't seem like Brittany really wanted to be a traitor. She kind of was like, oh my gosh, it'd be way too obvious. But like, what are your thoughts on that? Because in my opinion, like, why does it matter? Like, you, if you're not a traitor, it doesn't really matter because people can still vote you out as a traitor, regardless if you're actually a traitor or not. Like, would
I
it matter if you're a traitor or not?
I think if Danielle picked someone like Dylan,
Mhm.
they might have gone to the end together, or at least had a higher chance of getting to the end together. I think
Why?
Danielle picking Brittany like kind of put a target on both of them. I think that was just an obvious choice. And I also have been hearing rumors that Danielle told Brittany in the house that she was a traitor.
I thought they signed an NDA.
They do, but I feel like I don't know if this is obviously true. This is just like, just some TikToks that I've seen. But
Yeah.
yeah, that might have happened. Which
Hmm.
and then everyone's like, well, based on Brittany's reaction, like it kind of seems like it. And I mean, Brittany's reaction, she didn't really seem shocked or anything. It was a
Sure.
weird reaction to seeing Danielle as a traitor, like especially if that's your friend, that's the person who you're in alliance with, who you're working with.
Yeah.
Like
I
that's
never
kind
really
of a
thought
big
about that.
deal.
You're right. She didn't really have a reaction at all. That is true. I never thought about that. Yeah,
So
honestly, I wish I was a little bit more online, and I'm not.
no,
I
it's
want to
not
see the
good.
behind the scenes. Okay.
It's not good. It's not
Um.
good.
Well, back at the round table, Danielle is trying to pin Gabby as a traitor, and like I loved Gabby's rebuttal to Danielle's points. She'd be like, "I voted for Boston Rob twice," and Gabby's just like, "Same." Like she's
Yeah,
like, "I don't have it in me to be a traitor," and I was like, "Same."
no, Gabby killed that discussion.
I
I
know.
think
I'm
that
so happy that Gabby was around for that long, and we got to see her fight for her life.
we really got to see her shine. And I mean, I feel like for a couple weeks now, Gabby was kind of not necessarily a target, but her name was kind of being
Hmm.
thrown around. And even near the
Just by
end, like it
Dylan.
still was too. Yes. Dylan, what the hell? Honestly, Dylan sometimes has like the best brain, but sometimes he says things and I'm just like, Dylan, where are you pulling this from?
Fair. But yeah, she crushed it. It's so funny because Danielle was coming for her, and then it ended up being she didn't get a single vote against her. But that's because Dolores, out of nowhere, this whole conversation's going about Danielle being a traitor, Gabby being a traitor, and then all of a sudden Dolores is like, just so you guys know, I'm voting for Ivar. That's where my vote is going.
Dolores was the biggest waste of votes this whole season. Like they
Yes,
even
and like
said they're like Dolores out of like the 9 or 10 votes, only 2 of them that Dolores voted for like ended up actually people being voted out.
I
Like her
know.
just
Did
throwing votes
you
like at Tom the whole time.
my favorite I sent you those TikToks, I'm sure you've seen, but like the TikToks of people like kind of reenacting her voting. Did you see those? Where
No,
she's
you said
like, So Danielle straight up told me this morning that she's a traitor, but my vote today goes still for Tom, even though he's already been eliminated. And it's
Literally.
like,
Oh
yeah,
wait,
there's. I think I sent them to you on our,
yeah,
but
I'm
it's so
seeing it.
funny. It's like I'm gonna
This
vote for the sound
the
guy.
sound guy. No, that's funny. Dolores did pull through though in this episode.
Yeah, honestly, so like I know you haven't seen season 2, but in my head, because I've never seen starting off in season 3, I'd never seen an episode of Traitors. But in the midst of waiting for season or weekly episodes, I watched season 2 and I finished. And there are some people like Dolores on that too who make it pretty far because I feel like it's almost a strategy, right? Like if you're so off, like if you do not vote right at all and you have no idea what's going on, why would the traders get rid of you? Because you're not a threat to them at all.
That's true. I feel like her name got thrown around a lot at the
By
beginning.
Tom.
Yeah, and then she kind of just got like flew under the radar. But I guess that's a good strategy to become a traitor. If you were on this show, do you think you'd want to be a traitor or a faithful?
I see. I would love to be a trader. I feel like it would be more fun. Actually, I don't know. It doesn't seem that fun.
No.
I think I would love. I think I would want to be a trader, but I don't think I have the skills to be a trader. I don't think I could lie like that. I'm a terrible liar. I don't think I could do it, so I'd probably be a faithful. But I think being a trader would be a lot of fun. Like,
Yeah.
what about you?
I think a traitor would be more fun, but I think I would be a bad faithful. I think even if I was a faithful, I would seem suspicious because I would try so hard not to seem suspicious that people would just
Yeah.
assume that I was a traitor. So I feel like I wouldn't want to be a traitor, but I think I might be better at it. I am a bad liar though, so I wouldn't be good at the round table when someone's coming
Mhm.
at me.
I know if someone came at me, I'd be like, um, you're right. Like,
I wouldn't have a case to plea, but at the same time, I think, and we'll get into this later, but I think that no, I can't tell. I won't bring it up now. I'll
see,
wait.
but I think I would want to be a trader though, because while I think I would be bad, it would be more difficult. It'd be more like a challenge. I think it'd be fun
I also think though
to
it would be
play that
such
character.
a challenge to prove that you're not a traitor.
You
Like
know?
that's hard work.
I know, I was thinking about it because I just like always think about what I would do if I was on the shows. And like if you're a trader, I feel like the best strat like obviously people try to act like you're faithful, but I think you really have to like act like you're a trader and like be or sorry, like you're faithful and like be really contributing to the conversations about like who or who may not be a traitor. Because I feel like, yeah, if you're not really, at least in season 2, like you haven't watched it yet, you should really watch it. Like some of the traders don't really contribute a lot at the beginning, and like that's what gets people onto them because they kind of just like don't say names. They're like, and like that's a huge thing that I think what people would be able to catch on to. Because if you're not really trying to figure out who the traders are, then like you're probably a trader. I don't know. I feel like there's no like strategy. Everyone has a different strategy.
Yeah, because I also feel like whenever they're at the round tables, it was usually a faithful that started the conversations. Like it was never a
Yeah,
traitor to just start talking.
true.
But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what my strategy would be. Maybe like fly under the radar for a bit, but not
Yeah.
too much. But
I
also,
think
I think being a traitor would be the most stressful thing ever, and I think you'd be able to see it all over my face the whole time.
that's true. Well, Trader season 3 Canada is currently casting.
Oh my god, I
I know you want
saw
to change. I
that.
know you want to do something.
I wonder where they're
Just go.
filming.
I know I kind of want to apply.
Dude, that'd be so cool. You should do that.
Yeah, that'd be so fun.
Okay,
I
next time.
applied for Big
Maybe
Brother when
season
I
4.
was I applied for Big Brother when I was 19.
What? Big Brother
Yeah.
Canada?
No, Big Brother.
Shut.
Yeah, Big Brother Canada.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I got a call back.
What?
But then
You have
I
this
got called
whole
back.
other life that I don't know about.
But I didn't get on the show. And thank God I didn't get on the show because I was 19 years old and
Wait, they
I
called you back. What did they say?
well they had like I had like an interview.
Dude, that's serious. I feel like only some
Yeah,
people get selected for interviews.
I know. But I looking back I'm happy I didn't get on because I was 19 years old and like I don't know. I don't know if I would want that on the like just floating around the world still. Cuz I was such a different person when I was 19. I was like so immature and I probably would have said some really not good things. I'm like, I would not want to watch that now
Oh my god,
and know
that's
that it's just like in
crazy.
public. But
I don't even know the
anyway,
concept of Big Brother.
oh really?
Do they
It's
just like do they live in a house together?
yeah, they
Is
stay
it
in a
that kind
house.
of dynamic?
They're all trapped in a house and then every week there is competitions to win head of household. So like you have the power basically, like you get to win the power for the week and then that person gets to choose who's nominated for elimination. So then two people go on the block and then the whole week is basically like they have a competition to win like a veto, which is basically like a shield, I guess, and then people vote them out and someone gets eliminated every week,
Oh, okay.
but they're just like trapped in a house together and like whereas this apparently they don't live in the castle. I just learned that they stay in a
What?
hotel.
Like on Traitors?
On Traitors, yeah, sorry, back to Traitors. They stay in a hotel.
Okay,
They
so how
don't
does that
stay.
work when they're all meeting together at like breakfast? Do they just say like,
I know.
"Okay, you go first. Okay, you two wait in the hall. Okay, now you two come in." What? I thought they were just getting
I
ready in
know.
their rooms the whole time.
No, that's what I thought too. Oh, I thought they slept there. I knew that there was probably like a strategy on who gets to come down to breakfast first. Like it's definitely producers like putting it in a certain order. But
I'm so
yeah,
bummed.
apparently they stay in a hotel 45 minutes away. I'm like, so they drive in every morning and then they just like hang out at the house all day. And but that okay, what's confusing to me now though is I saw a comment on TikTok because I saw this on TikTok. Actually, I googled it yesterday, but then I also saw it on TikTok. Anyway, someone said I don't understand then like if they're staying in a hotel, how do they drive back to the castle? They're all like muddy and gross, and then all of a sudden for round table they're like perfectly ready again at in the castle. I'm like, how does that make sense?
Okay, that's kind of weird because I feel like when I was also seeing all those things about Danielle telling Brittany that she was a traitor on the show, they were like, "Oh, well, the cast is filmed 24/7 at the castle or at the house, I guess." And it's like, I guess that's not true then. So there totally
But they're
would have been.
separated. But they're separated at the hotel. So apparently they all get individually taken back to the hotel, and they don't see each other again until breakfast.
What the heck?
Yeah, and then the
Okay.
traders go back on their own.
That's so weird.
I know. I want to like know all the logistics.
You got to
Um,
go on the show.
but is Traders Canada? Where's that filmed? Like, I need to know. If it's not in that castle, I'm not going.
Are there any castles in Canada?
No, it's
No.
definitely not filmed in Canada. I mean, I'm sure there's castles in Canada. But yeah. Anyway, Danielle gets eliminated, and Brittany are on her
Brittany
way
be-
out.
Wait, what? No, you go.
I was gonna say, on her way out, Danielle is like to Brittany, "You did it again to me. Like you betrayed me." Or she says something. She's most hurt by Brittany. On her way out, which leaves suspicion in people's mind now about Brittany. I think that's where like the suspicion started. And I mean, I'm sure there was probably going to be suspicion no matter what, because if they find out Danielle's a traitor and Brittany, who's been close to her no matter what, even if she wasn't a traitor, they would have thought that. But
Well, that's why I felt like they couldn't really use that as evidence or anything because obviously Danielle would have been pissed no matter what, whether Brittany's a traitor or not, if Brittany broke her out.
true, however, like if Brittany was a faithful, it wouldn't really be her backstabbing her because it would have just been her playing the game. Like her voting like her backstabbing her is her voting her out even though she knows she's a traitor.
That's
But if
true.
you're faithful just voting for someone who you think is a traitor, that's not backstabbing her. That's just playing the game,
That's just, yeah. That's okay.
you
That's a
know?
good point.
Yeah. And at
Well,
this point, like, I honestly had no idea that like Gabby and Dylan and Ivor like trusted each other so much. So in my head, I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna flip on Dylan now because Danielle, or actually no, I'm jumping ahead.
I honestly
That's the
thought
next round
after
table.
this, yep, I wasn't expecting Dylan at this point. My eyes were still on Gabby. I'm like, okay, is Gabby next now? But because it could be like she said, like the whole traitor on traitor fighting.
Hmm.
But then again, Gabby's the one that brought that up. So would she be a
Yeah,
traitor? Um,
true. But at this point, Danielle or Alan says that Brittany won the seer power.
yeah, that was a shock to me.
I feel
I don't
like
know.
Danielle probably actually won it, and then she got eliminated, so they had to give it to Danielle or to Brittany.
That's what I assumed. Danielle would have won it, but I also would have thought. Actually, I guess Brittany did have quite a bit of money, coins, whatever, going into it. But I honestly
Sure.
thought Dylan would have got it.
No, Dylan had like no money until the
But at
last
the
round.
end, he was working his butt off. Even
Yeah.
Dolores, I would have expected to have it. Dolores, though, I think would have wasted it. She wouldn't have known what to do with it. Brittany
No.
picking Gabby.
What
Part
do
of
you think
me,
about that?
I would say, what do you think about that? Do you think that was a smart call?
I yeah, I mean, I thought I think she did the right thing by picking someone who was kind of suspicious and not saying she was a traitor because that confused everybody. Like, if she would have came back and said Gabby was a traitor, and then Gabby was like, "I'm not a traitor," that really wouldn't have done any good for her. Like, at the end of the day, even if they ended up believing her in the round table, they would have probably got rid of her in like the fire or like the pit area because that would have just caused a mistrust, regardless if they thought she was a traitor or not, you know? So I
I
think she did the
think,
right thing.
yeah,
Um, because otherwise there would have been too much suspicion on like whether she's lying or not.
I think it would have been a weird move for her to lie about Gabby being a traitor. That's why I was so confused with Dylan. Dylan's mindset, like, oh, Brittany's a traitor if she comes back and says that Gabby's a traitor. And then Gabby comes
Yeah.
back and they both say she's a faithful. And Dylan's like, are they both traitors? Like, I feel like Dylan's brain was working so weirdly during all that.
I mean, I get that because I feel like a traitor, one approach could have been to lie and say someone's a traitor
But that
to
would have
take the
been
suspicion off you, but yeah.
that would have been so difficult. That would have been like her word against mine. And then if
Yeah.
they do end up voting Gabby out, then they're obviously gonna come for Brittany after. It might have brought
Yeah.
Brittany an extra night, but overall
Yeah.
she would have been done.
Yeah. I'm surprised she picked Gabby, but I guess it makes the most sense. It was either her. It's probably the best move because then people were like, okay, Gabby's faithful. Who else could be suspicious? And like Dylan would be the only other one. And she does end up coming for Dylan later, so it's good because she didn't keep Dylan safe. She kept Gabby safe. And
Yep.
then she could go after Dylan at the round table. But
Well,
before we get there, oh yeah.
I don't know. It probably just would have been a weird move for her to pick Ivor or Dolores because I feel like they're more obvious faithfuls. So if she were to do that, I feel like it would have been
Mm-hmm.
up in the air. Like, why wouldn't she pick someone who's more suspicious? Even though Ivor, I guess,
Yeah.
kind of was a suspicious one, so I wouldn't have been surprised.
True.
But I think Gabby was a good call on that one.
Yeah. But yeah, then they go to their final mission. And it's so dramatic. Alan's standing out there and he's like, wait, I guess not dramatic at first. What's their mission? They had to like, I honestly, this is gonna sound really bad, but like, I am a terrible listener and I'm at the point because I've watched so many Traitors episodes in the past like week because I watched all of season two. I'm like, I am zoning Alan out when he's explaining the instructions to the game.
Honestly, the only thing that really happened in that challenge was the end of it when they got strapped together in the helicopter and then had to
Yeah.
throw down the whatever into the ring of fire.
Wait, what did they do
Which
before? I'm like mixing up all of my.
they had to.
Is this the
Why am
one where they had like the catapult target?
no?
Or is this a different season?
I don't know what you're talking about.
What did they do?
They what did they have to do to get each one was worth? Oh my god, I'm blacking out.
I can't remember.
I didn't think this part would be important, so I didn't write it down. I'm like, oh, I'm obviously gonna remember it.
I watched too many
Anyways,
trailers.
though,
Anyways,
yeah, you have an excuse. I don't.
I'm like thinking of a
Um,
whole different season right now.
that's okay. Um, anyways, I thought it was really Dylan and Gabby going together up in the air. I thought that was
Oh
so
my
cute.
gosh,
He was
that was so
so
funny.
supportive of her.
I
I
know. I
felt
was
bad
really
for
happy that.
Ivor going alone, but I also felt like that he's probably the
Yeah,
best person to go alone.
yeah. But I was really happy that Gabby and Dylan at this point were together because I was like, okay, obviously Gabby and Dylan haven't had like a super trustful relationship most of the season because he's been accusing her of being a traitor. So I
Yeah.
was like, this is good because like this is where you build trust together. I was like, perfect. He's gonna help her through this. They're gonna build like a really good connection because like obviously you're gonna bond with someone after doing something like that with them. And I was like, amazing. Now Gabby will trust. Oh my gosh, we'll trust Dylan.
I think I feel like there wasn't much issue with Gabby trusting Dylan. I feel like it was more so with Dylan trusting Gabby.
I mean, yeah, I do think that, but like also if someone's coming at you saying you're a traitor all the time, like you'd probably not trust them that much.
That's true. Well, I did think that I would definitely ship the two of them if Gabby wasn't married or a lesbian right now. I
And
think
Dylan
they're
wasn't in a
cute.
relationship.
That's true. He is in a serious relationship, supposedly. Dylan,
My
I have
favorite
such
whole
a crush on him now, though. He's like a new
I
celebrity
know.
crush of mine.
I know.
But like, I just want to be his
He
friend.
yeah, he
And
just
like,
seems really nice and down to earth. And like Zac Efron is the same. Like the Efrons are just killing it.
yeah, they probably have a pretty cool family. I would
Yeah.
definitely go to one of their family functions. It'd be a good time.
But they're flying together and Dylan posted an Instagram story of like him and Gabby in the air and it was like he said producers like missed an opportunity for this and it's we're sorry. I mean,
uh,
um Gabby and Dylan are the new Troy and Gabrielle.
and I'm here for it. I feel like it must be hard growing up with like a celebrity sibling, especially one to like that extent. Like I feel like Zac Efron's pretty popular and always has
I
been.
mean, especially well actually I watched a podcast with him in it on Nick Viall's podcast.
Oh my god, he gets
Um
everyone on there.
I know he gets everybody. But yeah, he went on that and he was talking about I think Zach got famous at like 17 or 16, so Dylan was like 12. And he said honestly, like he was really like grateful for it because for what he was saying, he like got to see everything and like Zach kind of like took him in and did to do everything and like it made him realize he didn't want to be famous and like he wanted to just not be like an actor or like famous like that. So I also don't think Zac Efron's ever been like that super showy famous person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like seems like a very down to earth. He doesn't have social media. Like my sister was saying that, or I guess he has like accounts, but he doesn't use them. Like
Yeah.
probably has someone post on there for him. But I guess my sister said she saw an interview with him recently, Zac Efron, like at an award show, and the interviewer was like, "Oh, something about someone like DMing you," and he was like, "What's a DM?"
Aw. Well, Zac Efron. That makes me like him so much more.
Yeah, he's great. There's also like I don't know if you saw this meme, but when Dylan was like really stressed out on the couch doing his interview and he went like I don't know what I'm
Oh,
doing, but there's like a scene of like Zach and like High School Musical getting like
yep, yep. That was when he was on the golf course.
yeah.
What song was that? Bet on it, bet
The
on it, bet.
bet
No,
on
not
it.
that one, right? Is it that one? High School
I think
Musical
it is that
2?
one. Yeah.
Well, I'm
um
glad Dylan's getting his time right now.
yeah.
He deserves it.
But yeah, they so after that challenge they I mean that was just a fun challenge.
Yeah, they win some more money.
There's the round table though. And
This one was, well, just say the majority of it was Brittany on Dylan.
Brittany comes in like dressing like a traitor. She's dressed like an ice queen.
Yeah.
um and yeah, she goes hard at Dylan, which he clearly was not expecting. But like she was
Well,
really like aggressive.
well, Dylan first pleads a good case on Brittany. Like, he brings up
Yeah.
her name, he brings up the facts, he says, I'm going to be voting for Brittany tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Brittany, yes. Brittany goes at him. She's fighting for her life at this table. Dylan, I watching Dylan was so funny. You could tell that he was not expecting this conflict. He was not expecting to get attacked. I feel like he didn't even know what to say. And honestly, he didn't really fight back as much because I feel like he was just so shocked. But like I
Mm-hmm.
think that was the move. Because traitors always have like a case. They always have
Yeah.
facts. They're like there to fight for their life. Dylan
Yeah.
was just kind of like shocked at what he was hearing from Brittany. And I feel like everyone else was too.
I know. Like I don't think she did herself any favors by being so aggressive with it. Like she
Yeah,
was like
no.
I was actually kind of nervous though. Like I was nervous that they were going to get rid of Dylan.
Yeah. Yeah, I was stressed too because I feel like
Because even though she, yeah.
if they got rid of Dylan, I think Brittany would have had a higher chance at winning.
Yeah. I think so. Unless yeah, maybe I don't know because I don't know if Ivar.
Ivar and
I don't know if
Dolores can't
Ivar.
think for themselves, and
But I
Gabby
think
can be
Ivar
easy.
does.
No,
Ivar thinks for himself.
Ivar has good cases and he strategizes with like people, but like he's very easily convinced. Like I feel like he'll have someone's name in his head and then someone else like Dylan will bring up a name and he'll be like, "Oh, yeah, that's," and then
Mm-hmm.
he'll end up going with what Dylan said or like anyone. So Ivar does strategize more than Dolores does, but Ivar I feel like changes his votes more. Dolores if she's just going to write her stupid vote down
Yeah. I
no
was
matter what anyone
confident.
says.
I was confident that Dylan would vote for Brittany. I was confident that Ivar would vote for Brittany. But I was like not 100% sure on what Gabby and Dolores were doing.
Yeah, Dolores is
But
just a wild card at this point.
this is Dolores votes Brittany, which is shocking, honestly.
Yeah.
um, but she does it, and they get out their last traitor. However, in this season, at this round table, the person who gets eliminated did not have to reveal whether they're a traitor or not, which is actually really it's like much more difficult because again, not to like spoil anything, I've only ever watched season 2, but like in this roundtable, that person got to say whether they were a traitor or not, right? And so I feel like that would make such a huge difference in the next part of the game. Because if you're like if Brittany would have said I'm a traitor, they would have easily all been like, no one else here is a traitor, like done. You know?
Well,
But
this is
because
why I
she
was
didn't
still,
say,
yeah, was definitely still worried for Dylan after this. Because you're right.
same.
At that point, when they're both going at it, they could still be thinking, like, oh my God, what if Brittany is a faithful and the traitor is still here with us?
Yeah. That's
Which
what
I guess,
I was worried
yeah.
about. And I was worried about Dolores because they kept like cutting to her, I don't know, interviews, and she was like, I don't know if I trust him. And I was like, and I obviously we don't know anything about what Dolores is thinking or who she's gonna vote for. So I was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna vote him out like at the end, and that. I was like, that would have sucked because she's done absolutely nothing to vote out the person who's like done most of the dirty work.
Yeah. No, that honestly, like that Dolores was the one I was worried about. I didn't know
Yeah.
if she'd be coming through right at the end. Gabby, Ivar, Dylan, I'm like, they've got a good head on their shoulders. Dolores, though, we don't really know where this could go. It could have really taken a turn.
Yeah.
And obviously, Brittany could not handle being a traitor. She lasted a week.
Yeah. That's tough. I feel like that's like a blessing and a curse because I feel like becoming a traitor right at the end, it's like could be a bad like an advantage to you because if you've been playing like a faithful the whole time and that's like true and people think you're faithful and you just get to become a traitor right at the end and like as long as you don't raise any crazy red flags at the end, like you could definitely get away with it
I feel
because
like
you only have to do
Brittany was kind of like suspicious at the beginning. Like, I remember she would be usually a name that gets thrown around the round tables a lot.
yeah, true.
So that could have
Um
came back to bite her. But I mean, she just didn't
but I
play a
mean
good game.
yeah, it could I guess she was suspicious and if she couldn't handle lying, it probably just raised more red flags. So like I don't know, maybe Danielle killed her game too.
As I'm saying,
Um,
I think Danielle picking Brittany killed both their games. I think that was the worst idea.
I think Danielle was done no matter what. I don't think Danielle, like, no matter who she picked, like, she wasn't making it to the final. There was, like, enough suspicion on her already. I don't think adding Brittany as a traitor made her any more suspicious because, like, no one knew that. She was already suspicious on her own. Like, people were already thinking her before this. So, like, I think adding Brittany did nothing to Danielle's game. Like, Danielle was suspicious. She was going to go no matter what. Unless she picked someone that she could have easily pinned as a traitor and went after them instead so that they would have found a traitor. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think the only thing Danielle could have done better is like pick someone like Dylan or Gabby who was like had suspicion on them and then like really went for them so that they would have been eliminated as a traitor and people would have been like, oh, we got all the traitors.
I really think Dylan would have been a good pick for her. Not to pin him. I think like pinning it someone like Gabby, she could have done that. But I feel like her and Dylan could have genuinely made it to the end together. I feel like
But what?
people really
But
listened.
to
I feel like
Dylan?
people really listened to Dylan. I
But do you
feel
think
like
Dylan would have taken her to the end? Do you think he would have been like, you're using me to get yourself to the end? Like he could have turned on her and like been confident in that.
that's true, but people would have believed him, I feel like.
But that's what I
I
mean. Like if
because
he
he's been bringing up her name. So he could have probably you're right. Maybe she could have picked him, but then he could have ditched her. And because he didn't really have suspicion before Brittany started throwing
Mhm.
his name around, he could have made it probably to the very end without any suspicion.
Yeah. But yeah. I think like I don't think Danielle had a good pick in that unless she picked someone who she was going to turn on. Because she was already suspicious at that point. Like but when she picked Brittany, like people were already saying her name. So like adding Brittany didn't add any more suspicion because like nobody knew she did that. But she could have used somebody else as like a cop out instead. Instead of being like, I'm gonna take the traitor to the end, she could have been like, who can I pick that's already kind of suspicious? And then like get people to vote for that person so that when that person announces they're a traitor, maybe everyone thinks all the traitors are gone. And it's like less
Mm,
suspicious on her, you
yeah.
know?
In season 2, did they recruit another traitor later on like this season? Like is this a
In
regular thing that happens?
in season two, I don't want to spoil anything. um there was recruitments, but the latest recruitment, um they like enough trainers made it close enough to the end that they didn't have to recruit right at the end. There was
Oh, okay.
only
Ah,
because it was
wait, don't
too
spoil it.
I'm not spoiling it. Like this is prior to any of these roundtables. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But like enough traders make it close enough to the end that they don't recruit because it wouldn't make sense.
Okay.
without spoiling it, because there's a bunch of different recruitments. Like, there's a lot going on.
Oh my god, okay. Okay, I'm
But
excited.
um, yeah, like I don't think Danielle really had a way out there unless she picked someone who she wasn't friends with. Because by picking Brittany, it's like they had to get somebody out, and she didn't want to turn against Brittany. So let's say, she kind of screwed herself because, like, if they would have gotten Gabby out, then they would have been like, there's still a traitor left. You know what I mean? But if she
Yeah.
would pick someone like Gabby and then like started that, because people were already kind of thinking her anyway and getting people on that train, and Gabby got eliminated, and she was like, "Oh, I'm a traitor," then a lot of people would have been like, "Oh, we might have them all." I just
I
don't think
see
there was
what
a
you're
way
saying.
Danielle was getting to the end. Even if she got to that like pit, like the fire pit, I don't think people would have ended the game.
You're probably right.
There's
I
no
want to
way
believe
that
that.
like
I do want to believe that.
there's
But like
no
it
way that
also
like
it
Ivar and Dylan, if they made it to that like fire pit with her, they were saying let's end the game.
I hope so because I feel like Dylan had a lot of suspicions with Danielle, but then he'd still be all like buddy buddy with her. So like he kind of worried me a bit there because I'm like, is he seriously gonna get fooled by Danielle right now? Like that's embarrassing.
No, he said that he knew that Danielle was, I can't remember what he said on Nick Miles' podcast. But he said there was like a something that she said to him that wasn't like I'm a traitor, obviously, but like something that she said, like was like he knew that she was a traitor.
Well, it seemed like right before Danielle got voted out, he was very much like, I know Danielle's a traitor. Right before Brittany got voted out, he was like, I know you're a traitor. I feel like if it's a good thing he's not a traitor, and I don't know if he would have used that same kind of language, but like everyone else who's like so certain about someone being a traitor were usually
Mm-hmm.
traitors and or like
True.
deemed as a traitor. So like it was
Yeah.
just so surprising. Like Dylan was very much like when he was set on someone, he was set on them. And he
Yeah.
would convince the whole house like, "Hey, this is what's happening."
Mm-hmm.
So I do think Dylan played a really good game and I'm
Mm-hmm.
so glad he made it to the end. Like
Yeah.
I think he was like a key player this season.
Yeah, for sure. He said that he got really lucky. Like, I do think he did really well, but he said that he got really lucky. Like, I think he played a good game because no one ever tried to banish him, which is pretty impressive. But also, like, he said that he got lucky with the people that he, like, chose to be close with because he said, like, literally day one, he didn't know, like, who was traitors, obviously. But, like, day one, he was telling, like, he told Caroline and Danielle that they were his, like, number one.
Oh,
And he's like, I had no
that
idea that they were traitors at that time.
that's
Like he
crazy.
said that his closest companions were like Caroline, Danielle, and Rob.
That's nuts. Well, I mean, okay, he was doing really well like for picking people who he thought. Like I feel like everyone
Mm-hmm.
he named was like, "Oh my god, he knows who the traitors are."
Yeah.
But then like for a bit in the middle there when he was like literally whipped by Rob, it was kind of like I think we needed Rob to leave for Dylan to
Yeah.
shine. But
Yeah.
you're also when you said he got lucky, like he really did cuz they could have killed him off so easy at any time and he probably would have
Yeah.
been a really good faithful to kill.
Yeah.
Like he's a smart
Yeah.
guy. That was a weird
I
move on
know.
their part.
Well, because they knew that he had their back. Like he wasn't turning on Caroline, Dylan, or Rob at all. Like not.
Or
Do
Danielle
you
at
know
the
what I mean?
beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. Or sorry, Danielle, not Dylan. But I think that's like the best strategy, honestly, is like if I were a faithful and I had suspicion on someone that was a traitor, especially if someone that I kind of got along with, I would be like, I'm not bringing out their name.
Yeah.
Because, like, bringing up people's names too early and being like that person that's like, I can get people out is basically a death sentence. So,
Is
like,
wait, no, sorry, continue.
yeah, I just feel like that would be the strategy is like find out who the traitors are and not be the active voice that's getting them out right away. Like, literally befriending them and like earning their trust.
Yep. But that's so hard. I feel like I want to watch a season where I don't know who the traitors are,
Yeah.
which would be so hard to do. But like I
That'd
just
be
want to
so hard.
genuinely know what it feels like to not know and to like see if there are people who are a little more suspicious than others.
True.
Do you wish that there was a traitor out of this group that made it far or that won?
I loved Rob. I would have loved for Rob to go farther.
I'm so torn by that because I feel like now I feel like I'm team Rob, but while I was watching him, I felt like I wanted him to get voted off so bad.
Oh, I did it. I was like, I wanted him to stay. Like he was such good entertainment. I think he's like so funny. Like he's loud and like yeah, like I think he's just great TV. And I think he's like a genuine person. Like every single I haven't watched him on Survivor, but I'm like getting clips now of everything of him like being on Survivor like 25 years ago. And like him and his wife met on Survivor.
Yeah.
And like yeah, I don't know. I just think he's like such a good person. Like even his interviews now after, he's just like joking around, being like, you know what I mean, like making fun of himself and like he didn't take it very seriously. Like yes, he was like a big game player, but like he wasn't like taking it seriously.
I wonder if he would have made it further as a faithful.
I think he would have made it farther as traitor if he didn't go after Bob so hard at the beginning. Because people trusted him. Like there's a lot of people that were like on Rob's side, like all the Bambis and like everyone was just like Rob, Rob, like.
Yeah.
But because he went so hard at Bob, it like definitely put a target on his back.
Yeah, that was a weird, unexpected thing to do. And I don't know
I
if
think he
like
would have.
traitor on traitor fighting is like common in this show, but I feel like that really set the tone for everything.
I feel like it is kind of common. Like at some point, they have to go against each other to save themselves.
That was really early on though.
It was like it is pretty early, um, but I think he probably. I don't think he would have made it very far as a faithful either because he would have just got killed. Like
Yeah, I feel like people were very suspicious. Would have been suspicious of him either way, just because
it
they
would have.
know he's a
Yeah,
good game player.
it would have depended on who the traitors were. I mean, actually, I don't know if they would have killed him. They probably would have kept him around so that he would probably still would have got banished pretty early because people would just assume he's a traitor. Because for some reason, I don't know why, like on both seasons, this is like a common theme that people are like, oh my gosh, like they won Survivor or they've been on Big Brother, so like they must be a traitor. I'm like, just because someone's like been on a, because honestly, like some of these people come from shows like Vanderpump Rules and Bachelor that are like competition game shows, and some
Yeah.
people come from like Survivor and Big Brother, like The Challenge, like these like game shows, and they always like classify themselves into these like categories, like oh, if he was on Big Brother, that means he's probably a traitor. Like he was good on Big Brother, so he was probably a traitor. I'm like, what? Like the logic doesn't make any sense. I'm like, just because someone was on a competition, and they also are like, I've been on one season of a game show. That means I'm a way better game player than this other person. Like you've been on one reality TV show.
Well, and I mean, the four people that won, none of them were on like game show style shows.
But that's what I'm saying is like that's what's kind of like I hate that they have that logic, like the
Yeah.
people, because the people who have been on game shows like never make it far because people assume they're gaming. You know, you have like a target on your back going in as like a Big Brother player because they're like, oh, she's been on Big Brother, so like she must be really good at this game. We gotta get her out. Like the people who aren't on the game shows like go after the gamers because they assume they're traitors or like gonna win, you know?
Oh, that's a good point.
You have like a target on your back automatically. Like you're better off being like a housewife
Yeah.
or bachelor.
Yep. Clearly.
Because then they're like, oh, you're just the bachelor. Like you can't win.
Yeah, I didn't think of it like that. Well, and I guess all the traders that got picked this season were Survivor, Big Brother, and then RuPaul's Drag Race. But like
Mm-hmm.
the first person to leave was, I guess, not a gamer. I don't know. I think
Yeah.
that I feel like
So
it was a weird
also
selection of traders that got picked.
Also, like, that this is not a spoiler because like you'll find this out in episode 1 of season 2. But you know how at the beginning of season 3 they were like all on the housewives being like a housewife must be a traitor. Like, do you remember
Yeah.
that they were all like in
Well, they
season
sent 3
2?
out right away.
In season 2, a housewife was a traitor.
Oh, so on one season, well, I guess we haven't seen season 1.
Yeah.
One season, one of the housewives was. Okay, good to know.
But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with how season 3 ended. Like, it was just like the most like genuine ending of a season. It was like just happy, and everyone, I feel like everyone was rooting for the faithfuls. Um which is so different than season 2 ending, so you have to watch it.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Like, are we supposed to want the traitors to win?
I feel like I mean, again, I've only watched 2 seasons, so I feel like you have to watch a handful of seasons to have an idea of what you actually like. But in season 2, I was rooting for the traitors for like a majority of the time. At the very end, I wasn't, because it was more like some of the recruited traitors. I was like, but like the first like 75% of the season, I was like, I don't want the traitors to get caught. Like, I'm on the traitor side because it was more like house against traitors.
Okay.
Whereas like in this season, in season 3, I felt like I was like very early on more of like a faithful like you know what I mean? Because I feel like the traitors were just attacking each other, and also it was more like traitor on traitor. Like, they basically all revealed themselves to each other by like going after each other.
Yep.
Um and less of like the faithfuls like really figuring out who it is on their own, you know. But I didn't really like Danielle or Caroline as a traitor. Not because I think I liked Caroline better than Danielle, just like honestly as person. But
Yep.
I didn't really want Caroline to win either because she wasn't really doing anything.
No, I
Like,
don't think she would have
she was
deserved to win.
she was doing a really good job of like staying undetected until the end. However, like, I think she got caught because she wasn't really strategic. She wasn't really making those choices. Like, she wasn't making good choices to stay undetected. And like in the turret when her and Danielle were like alone for like that first time, and Danielle was like, "Okay, let's do this," and she's like, "No." And Danielle's like, "Well, what? How about we do this instead?" And she's like, "No." And she just kept saying, "No, no, 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 no." But I'm like, then say your opinion. Like, what
Yeah.
do you want to do? And when she wouldn't like come up with her own plan, but she was just being like super resistant to the Danielle's, I was like, I don't want you to win either, because you're like, you're not really even making any moves, you know? You're kind of just being like, no. So I wasn't
Yeah.
really a fan of the traitors,
No, I also
except for
feel like she
Rob. I
didn't.
wanted Rob to win.
Rob should have made it farther, but no matter what, his destiny was to probably
Yeah.
not make it
If
past
Rob
the
would
fifth
have,
episode.
yeah, if he would have made it farther, I would have probably rooted for him. Or it would have been tough. It would have been a tough ending if it was like Dylan and Gabby against Rob, because I would have been like,
It would have been tough because I feel like Dylan would have got backstabbed right at the end. And he
I
knew that.
know.
Everyone knew that. Like, Rob would have just taken him as far as he could and then killed him.
Yeah.
But I do think this was the best possible outcome for a win. But I
Mm-hmm.
also think it was probably a little boring. Like, I feel like there was so much else that could have happened. But I'm also like, I'm okay with the boring win. I'm like, this was the ideal situation. I would have been bummed if Danielle or if Brittany won. I would have
Yeah.
been bummed if Brittany was there at the end with them. So I'm happy with
Yeah,
who won, but I also feel like it could have, and I still was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I
yeah.
just feel
I mean,
like with what happened could have been a little more like, I don't know. Maybe I needed a traitor there just to see what that was like.
yeah. I mean, I don't think it was really any less. I mean, yeah, no, season 2 definitely, like, that whole scene is just like crazy.
Like the very last
Um,
scene,
like the very last, like when they throw
the
the
fire.
stones
Okay,
in
yeah.
the fire pit. Yeah, that is like wild in season 2. Um, but this, I feel like I wouldn't have liked it. Like, if someone had been like, "Oh, I want to vote someone out," I would have been like, the only reason at this point that they would have done that is just to get more money, and that wouldn't have
What
felt like entertaining. It would have just felt gross.
Well, didn't Gabby say that? I feel like she said
Yeah.
that right at the end. Which
Because yeah.
and Dolores was making faces the whole time, so I'm like, oh, Dolores is really gonna fuck us on this one.
I do think
She,
like yeah. I did think she was gonna do that. But if she would have done that, I don't think she would have done it for like Reed reasons. I think she would have done it for like she actually just doesn't trust Dylan.
yeah, I don't think she knew really what was going on at all this season. So if
I
she did
think
do that, and if
yeah.
Dylan did go home, that would have been just the worst outcome that could have happened.
Yeah. I think you should definitely watch previous seasons though, because like I do think in season two there was a even though I think there was more greed.
Okay. That's the thing. I feel like I need the excitement of there being like a traitor in the final four.
Yeah, see, like I was thinking about it because I know I kept telling you like, oh my gosh, I really like season two. Like it's more entertaining than season three, but I think I like them both equally, just in different ways. Like season two was like so entertaining, like for the first like 75% of it. Like it was just so much more like better gameplay and like what's gonna happen type thing. But then like by the end, I wasn't as invested in the people at the end. Whereas like in season three, it's like a little bit more not as it's a little more boring in the sense that like the game is a little more boring, but I like the people in season three a lot. So like I was super invested the whole time, regardless of like it wasn't even boring, honestly. Like there was a lot going on that like kept me on a cliffhanger a lot. But just in comparison, it was a little less like what's gonna happen. But think I liked season three. Like I like the outcome of season three better. I like the people who won in season three better. Like overall, I think I liked it more for like just the group. They were really entertaining in themselves, you know.
Is there always four people at the finale? Like,
Um,
was there four people in season two at the fire pit?
yeah. So you always go to the fire pit with four people. And there has to be at least two faithfuls that win if they get rid of all the traitors. Do you know what I mean?
What do you mean?
So like at the end, like when there's four people there, um, if there's if they end the game and there's still a traitor there, the traitor will win all of it. So there's one winner. But let's say they go in with four faithfuls. Like let's say in season three they went in and someone was like, "Oh, I don't want to end the game. I want to keep banishing people." They could have banished two more people, but there has to be at least two faithfuls left.
Oh, so you could finish
Yeah,
the season with two winners.
yeah,
Damn. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay,
yeah.
then
So
I'm
like they
definitely
could have,
happy with how this
yeah.
ended.
So like
It,
Dolores, let's say someone said, "I don't trust." Like if they would have thrown a red flame in, then they would have had to banish somebody again.
that would have sucked.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like season two definitely does not end with everyone being like
Okay, good to know. I feel like I keep seeing clips from different seasons on TikTok, and I'm just like, I need to swipe past. I don't want any spoilers,
yeah.
or else it's
I
gonna be
need
hard to
to
watch.
yeah, I wanna watch season one next. And then I wanna watch like a different maybe like UK.
Well,
D- Um
there's another
did you know that
show that's coming out that's similar to Traitors, or like it's the same. It might still be with Alan, but it's coming out soon, I think, and it looks interesting. It's kind of like a
hmm,
similar concept to Traitors, but not.
um also Aaron from Love is Blind last season. Or not Love is Blind, oh my gosh. Love Island. He
Aaron,
came from
yeah.
Traders.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was on Traders like UK.
Aaron was on Traitors, really?
I know. Yeah, that's his first show.
Wait, that's so funny. Oh, so okay, so there's a Traitors UK.
Mhm. Oh,
What?
also, in season two, there was someone from Love Island USA on it. So, like, maybe next season, someone from Love Island will be on it.
Oh my god. Okay, that would be cool. See, I feel like this season it was really the people in it that brought me
Yeah,
to watch the show. I don't think I would have
totally.
been as willing if I didn't know anyone of the cast.
I agree. They did a really good job of casting like people that would like bring viewers in because I was totally just in because I knew so many people in the show.
Well, yeah. And I feel like they're going to have a lot to compete with next season. Like,
Well, I feel like a
they're
lot
going to
more
need a
people
pretty.
though will want to be on the show because I feel like it blew up a lot more this year.
That's true. Who would you want to see go on? Is there any like standout reality stars?
Hmm. I feel like Katie Mahoney. Yeah, yeah.
Katie, really?
Could you- oh my god, Katie would be so funny on this show.
Imagine
Or no,
James
Kate.
Kennedy.
Oh my gosh, I think Tom Schwartz is next for sure.
Tom Schwartz would not.
Oh my gosh, yes, he'd be like the Dylan. He'd be like the because they have to cast like the innocent white boy.
But like Tom Schwartz, I feel like people actually listen to what Dylan has to say. I feel like Schwartz would talk and nobody would
Oh my
even
gosh.
acknowledge.
No. Okay, think about him when we met him. Like he was so I would listen to anything he said. He's so
I know, but
nice.
like we're like a big fan.
Yeah, but he'd be like a Tom, but a little smarter.
I feel like he'd be like a Tom. He'd probably make it just as far, if not
Yeah.
further, because I feel like he wouldn't really be on the radar.
Who
He'd
else
be a
would you
funny
want
one
on?
though. I'm trying to think of like I can only think of Vanderpump right now. I'm trying to think of like another show.
I don't know
Even
Survivor
like
players,
I
but
don't really know
like
Survivor. I'm thinking like
Lisa. Okay, but
Lisa. I would let
um,
Lisa do whatever she wants. What Lisa says goes.
yeah, I know I don't watch enough. I don't watch current seasons of Big Brother, so like I don't know. Like Frankie Grande from like he was like Ariana Grande's brother. He was on Big Brother like when I watched way back. He
What?
would be
Really?
entertaining. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of more like Bachelor people too.
Oh, Bachelor. Oh, Joey.
Joey would be good. He would do well.
Joey. Yeah, he would do well. Um, who else from Bachelor? Caitlin Bristow. Do you know?
Even yeah, Caitlyn or even like Hannah Brown would be
I was gonna say Hannah
an
Brown. Yeah.
interest. She would be a good one there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, is
Anyway.
there? Yeah, I guess that like wraps up the episode.
Yeah, that was. I'm so happy that I started to watch Traitors this year because like that is one of my favorite reality shows for sure.
I feel like it was hard it happening right now, like during Bachelor, because I
I
feel
know
like
because
my attention span to Bachelor just really has gone downhill.
I
But this was something
agree.
like I was actually so excited about each week. Bachelor, I
Me
kind of like
too.
dread at
I
this
know.
point,
I
but
mean, I
that's
need
okay.
to watch the woman. I need to watch the woman tell all still. Um, but we'll get to that. And then
We'll get to. There's honestly not much to get to.
did was there any like anything
They
spoiler
did like
wise for
it.
like the preview? Or like not spoiler, but
Not
like
honestly,
teasing
not
of the
really. But
finale.
once again, in their clips, they really didn't have Juliana. It was mostly
Okay,
just Zoe and Latia.
I feel
And
like that's on
then
purpose.
I hope so. But also, like Grant seemed sad and just not like he just got engaged. So
Hmm.
I don't know what the vibe is there. Maybe he's just a really great actor. But I'm catching the vibe that he is a single boy right now. They did
Hmm.
tease a bit Bachelor in Paradise.
Oh, really? Like they have it
Yes.
filmed?
They
What?
that I don't know. They made it
That would
but
not
like
be.
they said they're going to have clips or preview or like people that are going to be on it. They're going to let us know on I guess the finale of Bachelor.
Okay,
So they're
so they'll
teasing
release
it
the
coming.
cast.
Yeah.
Okay, so they'll release the cast because I was gonna say like they definitely don't film until like probably like May,
You think they film in May and then like started on
April,
TV
May.
in like July?
Well, they don't usually start it until like very end of July, maybe early August.
I always thought it started in like June. And then it was like all summer it would be on.
I feel like in the past they had it earlier, but like when they had the Bachelorette a little later, like it wouldn't start till like the very end of July. But maybe this year because there's nothing, they'll start it at like the beginning of July. But yeah, maybe like April, May. they're only there for like 3 weeks.
Is it that short?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Actually,
sure it's
yeah.
like 3 weeks, maybe a month, like at most.
Oh my god, I haven't watched it in so long. I feel like I forget the whole concept of it.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
But
There
yeah.
were, I forget whose season they were on, but there are these three Bachelor boys that keep showing up on my For You page. And it's Greg,
Andrew?
Andrew, and oh, there's one more. But they are the funniest group. I love watching their videos.
I
I
don't know
think
the other one. Sorry.
I forget his name too. I'm so sorry. But it's mostly Greg that I see. I think
Mm.
is that his name? Greg? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's mostly
Greg.
Greg and Andrew I see. But they're so funny. I want them in paradise. I feel like
I
they
know. I
were in
hope they.
paradise already, but like I feel like we need that kind of personality there. Because they're
I know. I
so
think they need to
funny.
bring back some of the old, not older, but like I hope they bring some of the new people, but like I hope they pull like a good mix from the
But then
past.
again,
Like
like I feel like I didn't watch oh my god, what's her name? Michelle? That was a
Jen.
while ago. No, who's the Bachelor
Oh,
before Jen?
um, oh my gosh.
Why do I feel like it was
Um,
Michelle?
no, no, no. It wasn't. Oh my gosh, this is gonna bother me. I watched
Oh,
all the
no, 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 no,
seasons.
no. No, no, no. I know I have their uh her name starts with a C. Charity.
Charity, yeah.
I didn't watch Jen's season. I didn't watch Charity's season.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I'm gonna forget a lot of the people anyway, but that's not bad because I remember I watched like a Bachelor, I think last season. I didn't watch a few of the like I didn't watch Clayton or anything, and I ended up liking the girls anyway. So you get to know them.
You didn't watch Clayton's season?
No,
What?
I
Oh
couldn't.
my god.
I couldn't
That
do.
is some gold.
No, oh my god, Clayton. I could not. I don't think I watched it. I definitely skipped enough. I definitely skipped a season because I was like, I can't do this. There's too many men that look like Jesse Palmer being a lead back to back to back to back.
Weren't Gabby and Rachel on Clayton's season?
Yeah, I didn't watch. I literally just saw the ending.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, that was also like they had some stacked girls on that cast. I'm pretty sure that's the cast that Rachel and Gabby were on.
I think so too.
Love it.
But yeah. Anyway,
All right. I guess
we'll
we'll stop her there.
wrap it up.
Thank you for
And
listening,
then,
everyone. If you're still
yeah.
here,
Next, we'll recap potentially Women Tell slash next week, or maybe just Women Tell. But either way, next
I don't know.
episode
I
will be
feel like maybe
Bachelor.
we could skip Women Tell All. Fantasy Suites
We
are
can,
next. That's a big
yeah,
one.
we can touch on some things next episode.
Yeah. You can watch it and then you let me know if there's stuff you want to touch on.
Okay, sounds good. Anyway,
Alrighty. Bye,
until next
everyone.
week. Bye.